Now for global business updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Basi. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Rufai. All our viewers. Yep, look, as the Defemi said, the conflict is widening. You can see Brent crude now 83.65, West Texas 76, and I've added Nigeria's benchmark. We were doing this a lot last year when it was $75 a barrel, 64.85. So the double-edged sword remains, because while this is good for us fiscally, there's the other side of the coin in terms of prices going up. And speaking of prices going up, my. So this is US diesel futures, right? And you can see the line here from when the war took place to where it spiked. It's up to where it was, I think it was September of 2023. So, what is it, $3.37 or so. But a big jump in diesel. I think they're up like 16% over the last 24 hours. Same for Europe, up 34% over the last couple days. That's ICE gas oil. Whoever wants to look that up on the commodities trading. And they've essentially, because of the Middle East and the refining that takes place there, Strait of Hormuz supplies and who's going to be impacted. So it's no surprise that, according to data from Petroleum Price NG, Dangote Refinery has now increased diesel. We talked about PMS yesterday. So, I mean, it was going to be obvious, right? Yeah, this was PMS yesterday. So diesel going up as well. So it remains to be seen how long this continues. This is from I said let's go back and look at the Bureau of Statistics. I think they released this the same day they released GDP figures. This is your average PMS price in Nigeria. So I think down about 17%. This is as of January of this year. That's the last time data was available. 1,034 per litre from 1,258, 1,258. So, you know, the PMS price watch is not going to come into focus in Nigeria now. If this, I mean, it's not in the best, as I've said, as everyone has said, it's not in the best interest of Trump to keep this going. And it looks like he's starting to understand, or he's worried about energy prices. No, because he said that this is his speech where he said he's going to embargo Spain that is part of the EU. How are you going to do that? Anyway, so he says for the Strait of Hormuz that, but this is a pretty cool graphic from Kepler. Notice how there's, in fact, we'll play this over and over just so I can explain what's going on here. This is your straits. This is cargo traffic. The green dots are small cargoes. The red dots are the large vessels. This is from February the 27th to March the 3rd. You can see at some point, nobody's even moving yet. There's hardly anyone moving at all. What Trump has said is, okay, so this is on the February 27th. So you can see red, green, moving. Then over time, you're going to see when the war started, the traffic is going to go down. At one point, nobody's going to be moving through this. There was one brave person. Okay, boom, nobody's moving. But this guy was pretty brave and decided to cross it. So the Iranians have said that if you cross here, you will get shot down. Trump said yesterday, I think recognizing what's going on with oil prices, that the U.S. Navy is going to escort, he said he's going to escort vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. He also said he's going to, he said he's going to guarantee insurance as well. So, you know, again, experts have said, how realistic is it to suggest that the U.S. Navy is going to escort how many large vessels going through the Strait? So, you know, let's see what happens. But, you know, there's an analysis that Bloomberg did. The U.S. is spending $4 million per missile to shoot down $20,000 drones from Iran. So they're able to, as small as they are, they're able to use their tiny little drones to really impact these things. So, yeah, you know, so anyway, so, you know, that's for the Straits. We'll see what happens there. I mean, Asian markets, look at the Kospi. I have to put the Kospi at the top. Right. It's now the biggest one-day loss ever for the Kospi. This is matching what happened when the financial crisis in 2008, 12% drop. I mean, it cost me, although some folks are saying, are they using an excuse, that is traders, to sell off? Because it's been the hottest market so far this year. I told you it was last week, it was up 20% in February alone. So far this year, up like 46%. So was this an excuse to sell off? But remember, Asia and Europe, with that Strait of Hormuz video you just saw there, they are most at risk because they are net energy importers. So really pronounced. I mean, look at the Nikkei 225, over 3% drop. I mean, US markets, Asia markets, European markets, just red everywhere. Except one particular country, I'll get to that. You think you know which one that is. But anyway, going to the US, US markets, same story. Dow Jones, S&P, the NASDAQ particularly. The Trump administration came out and said that NVIDIA can no longer sell H200 chips to China. They've been flip-flopping back and forth. So you saw NVIDIA dropping. It's just quite odd. I mean, they keep going back and forth saying you can sell, you can't sell, you can sell, you can't sell. But anyway, NVIDIA has guided to a higher revenues in Q1, even without China, but pronounced, although the Russell 2000 there, the smaller cap stocks, you can see that's the biggest drop there. Now, there's been, because of so much red in the markets, I want to play this meme for you. There's this stock markets bearish memes that have been showing up on social media. I found this particularly funny. Take a listen or take a watch.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
Winning and red everywhere. Your whole portfolio is red. Anyway, I think to wrap up, like I said, Nigeria somehow so far this year has bucked the trend. All share index was up, but notice this: the oil and gas index was the big jump yesterday. 4.5. Aradel, Oando, Sepla, stuff like that. Market's up 26.3. And congrats to Taiwo Oyedele. I don't know if you already talked about that. Nominated for the Minister of State for Finance. Yeah.
I give him a little prayer on the AA. Yeah, TT's our guy. We don't agree on a lot, but he's still our guy. See, real quickly, I don't know who's advising this man called Trump? Donald J. Trump. That I see a lot of delusion in the thought process. You're going to escort every ship through the Strait of Hormuz with naval ship. Have you factored in the cost of fuel?
Thank you.
And have you factored in the cost of missile shot? Because Iran is not going to be looking at you. They're going to be shooting their Shahid, 20, 15,000 drones around you and playing with you. With all the buffers you have, air buffers you have, the dome system in Saudi Arabia and the likes, they're still shooting their drones and they still get to the American embassy. Right. So they're going to be shooting, you're going to be shooting all your Tomahawks, you're going to be incurring costs and everything. In one day, because of friendly fire, F-15s, 3 birds came down at once. Yeah. All the birds came down. To replace that, $351 million on F-15s alone. And more are still coming down, minus human costs. Today, by my last counts, they have shot Tomahawks to the tune of over $2.5 billion.
That's a lot of money.
And they are still hemorrhaging. And you can see all the consequences in the international scene. You see, if he cares to listen to people like us, we'll tell him, this is needless. Yep. Call it quits. Quickly came the victory. You can excite your right-wing base and tell them, we've killed Khamenei, we've killed Ayatollah, we won. And leave quickly. And stop all of this. You can't win on this, honestly. Just claim the killing of Khamenei and run away.
Go.
Your base, they are half-thinkers, they will understand. Like Hillary called them a bunch of what? Deplorables.
Deplorables.
The only thing is that he wants a regime change. So that's what he has said.
That's the problem.
Yes. And that's where Kestama disagrees with him, that a regime change cannot happen from the air. So I don't see how... From the skies. That a regime change cannot happen from the skies. But let me talk about... I'm more interested in the Nigerian side of things, how this is going to impact the pockets of Nigerians. And I'm glad that you pointed out, I talked about the oil benchmark. And this time, rather than it being at a disfavor for us, it's favorable for us because it's much higher than what was the oil benchmark for the 2026 budget. However, if we're getting more money in, number one is more monitoring and oversight. Of course, so if more money is coming in terms of from the fiscal side of things, then we have to ensure that it is used judiciously. And years down the line, we're not asking what happened with the money that was gotten from the increase in oil prices in 2026. But then, how is Nigeria planning to cushion the effect of the oil prices? Yes, I'm getting there.
Word,
yes,
the S word.
Cushion. What are we doing to, because we anticipate it, we know it's coming, it's already started. I don't know if you saw yesterday some queues at filling stations already. People are, there's a bit of panic buying already. What is the Nigerian government going to do? The subsidy is gone, the PIA is in effect, but people are going to feel the pinch. And not at the point where this administration is talking about economy stabilization as part of their platform for, re-election. It's a bad time for them. So my question would be, what are we doing to cushion the effect? Are we going to introduce some form of, I don't want to use the word subsidy because that's an ugly word.
Control.
Yes. Are we going to introduce some kind of...
imports, right? Yeah. NNPC should bring in some products and control the pricing.
Yeah. What about the private guy?
Okay.
They will fight.
Nigerians who are saying that Nigeria will make more money with the differential between budget benchmark and the reality that now confronts us. No, Nigeria is not going to make more money because we don't have the production capacity. We are hovering around 1.5 million barrels or so. And I've made the point that we are not going to get like the boom of the 1970s. That is not going to happen. The price of everything is going to go up. The price of toothpick included. The price of cooking gas and every other cost. Because we are not prepared. That was my major submission. And that is what is likely to happen. Now, as for President Trump saying he's going to provide the security, America may have the security. But how about the shipping companies themselves? Okay, take Maersk. A typical oil vessel costs about $300 million to $500 million dollars. So will you take the risk at a time when there is a serious risk premium? Will you say, oh, because President Trump has said so, I will allow my ship to go based on Trump's promise? And with Iran saying any vessel they see there, they will set fire to. They've already done so to at least 3 vessels. So, and then of course, what Trump is promising will take a lot of bureaucracy very quickly and perhaps finally. China, the National Bureau of Statistics released a PMI, Manufacturing Producers Index this morning at 49. Less than 49.1% that the economists predicted. So the issue is that the parliament is going to meet on Thursday. They will give us their projection in terms of GDP growth. They will probably not say 5% as they said last year. We did not meet. They will probably say between 4.5 and 5%. So China is still facing deflation. Indeed. Problem in the property sector and consumer spending. Thank you very much.
Thank you.